Yeah, we're gonna use that pot.
Anywhere you go, anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere you say.
So this really did not render a lot of fat. Ooh, it's bright. So I'm gonna go into the grocery store and I'm going to try to budget. I need a spray. Yeah.
Nearly 12.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. And then there's probably enough for what I'm making today. So now we are going to freeze these and then I'll put them in a bag once they're frozen solid. Okay, remember we were freezing these? They're completely frozen. I'm gonna use that pot. There we go. So beef vegetable soup. I'm gonna use, whoops. We'll use like two potatoes. So these 2 potatoes are 12 ounces. So I'm gonna use, this is a 9.3 ounce onion, yellow onion. I'm gonna use 1/3 of that in this recipe. So that's like 3 ounces of yellow onion going in the recipe. Use 1 celery stick. So this is almost, let's say 2 ounces of celery going in. 1.5 pounds. And this is 1 pound of 80/20 ground beef. This was $3.99 on sale. 12 ounce bag of frozen veggies going in. And I'm gonna tally this up. And I'm gonna make cornbread on the side. So in all, I'll at some point tally this up and show you what it's gonna cost. Going in, I'm gonna cook the ground beef and I'm gonna try to render as much fat as possible. We're not going to season it because, like I said, we want to render the fat first. Yeah, turn it. Right. Oh, too much. Okay, so this really did not render a lot of fat. I feel like I was cheated with fat. So we're just gonna go with it. Okay, things like water, salt, and pepper, I call those freebies because most households have that. So we're not gonna go, if you have a full pantry, season how you like, but salt and pepper are basics. Okay, 1/3 of that onion and 1 celery stick going in. We're gonna start the saute. I'm gonna add like that much salt for right now because we really didn't season the ground beef because I was trying to render fat and clearly we failed. But now you're just gonna want to saute this with the ground beef. I'm gonna add some pepper. This is like 2 cloves, 2 small cloves of garlic. You could use 1 large one. And just saute that. Now for my 2 potatoes that I diced going in. Just continue to saute. Okay, so remember the rest of that tomato paste, I'm gonna scrape whatever's left, like a tablespoon, I'm pretty sure. And I'm gonna add it into the soup. Okay. So instead of adding a can of tomato sauce, tomato paste works. So now I'm gonna swish about this can. I want every bit of that tomato paste. There we go. Perfect. So this is great. Going in with the vegetables. Start with, this was in all 4 cups of water. I'm probably going to add more. Now for the cabbage that I chopped. Give that a mix. Okay, more water. So that was about 7 cups in all. If you want to add more, you can. I think that'll do for what I'm making today. Gonna go with salt, some pepper, and give that a mix, and you're just gonna let it cook until everything is tender and cooked through. So here's like a pantry staple that I have, whether it's the Knorr or the Maggi brand chicken bouillon powder. If you really are budgeting and you don't have this already, you know, you don't have to buy it and add it to the recipe, but I'm gonna add a little bit of this because I like it. But again, you can adjust this recipe to fit your budget needs. I have pantry staples already, so I'm gonna go for it. Okay, a box of Jiffy corn muffin mix, 1 large egg, and 1/3 cup of milk. We'll tally that up after I mix it and bake it. Okay, bake, 350, start. Boop, what's wrong with me? It's 400. Cancel, bake, 400. There we go. Let's see. This is perfect.
That's very good.
So at this point, this is done. It literally cooked like in under 20 minutes. Taste it for salt and seasoning, adjust to your preference, and you've got a hearty, delicious beef vegetable soup that can easily feed between 4 to 6 people. Perfect. Cornbread's done. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the grand total of this meal, I wrote it down on my notes here. So for the beef vegetable soup, $7.63 for that big pot of hearty beef vegetable soup. If you don't like cabbage, you can exclude that, and that'll lower the price to like 40, oh, I gotta do math. It'll be $6.40 without the cabbage, right around there. Also, if you already have things in your pantry like yellow cornmeal, self-rising yellow cornmeal, you don't have to use the box of Jiffy cornbread mix. There's a lot of things for those of you that have a full pantry or things to work with. You know, you can get away with really budgeting your meals using this idea. Okay, so grand total, $8.69. That is under $10 to feed 4 to 6 people. That is amazing, especially with how things are now. Dinner, under $10 for a family 4 to 6. And like I stated earlier, for those of you that are just feeding 2 or even 1 person, you can get a pot of that soup. For 1 person, that could last you for an entire week of lunch or dinner, and it freezes well. So you don't have to eat it all in 1 week. You can freezer prep this, meal prep this. It's a great budget-friendly meal, whether you're feeding 4 to 6 people, yourself, or for 2. There's ways to divide it, and definitely this is a great budget-friendly meal. I have a lot of pantry staples, so it would kind of be hard for me to truly gauge, like for those of you that don't have things like garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder. And a lot of you, don't worry, I know a lot of you live in food deserts. So I'm gonna be running to like Dollar Tree. I kind of grew up in a food desert where we had to take like 2 city buses to go to like a fresh grocery store. And I know what it's like to have to figure out, you know, you go to the grocery store once or twice a month, and you're sort of dependent on these like convenience stores, corner stores, and like Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, things like that, Dollar General. So I might take you along for another video where we go to Dollar Tree or Dollar General, and I'll show you some of those budget-friendly meals if you are living in a food desert, because right now I think anything helps. I grew up in a food desert. I definitely grew up in a large family where we had many mouths to feed and not a lot of money. So it's something that I totally can relate to at some point in my life. And it might help you, especially like I have a lot of cousins that have moved out, started their own families, have girlfriends, fiancés, they're living in an apartment, and they are realizing, oh, my paycheck does not pay for everything I need it to, or there's barely any extra for anything. So budgeting groceries is a big help when you just don't know where to start. This meal is a great place to start. I have other meals that are so budget friendly, and I'm going to be showing you throughout the week. I'm going to film it for you and just to give you ideas. So family dinner under $10. And if you're feeding 2 or 3 people, there's leftovers. You can get 2 meals out of what I cooked today. So technically, if you're working with like feeding 2 people, dinner literally under $5. That is amazing. And then you can freeze the rest and eat it later in the week or for lunch. So great, budget-friendly meal. Okay. We can divide this into like 9. Oops. There. There we go. That is a generous serving. My family likes it like that. And there we go.